it is.
Well, hello there. Carol Dockum here with Beautiful Faces Going Places Women's Success Network. And I am so excited to be here today with these beautiful, incredible women here. I'm going to say empowering women. Today is our virtual networking event, and I'm just so excited to connect you with Diana, Monifa, Natalie, and Barb. So what is Beautiful Faces Going Places? We are an online chamber of commerce for women in business and a visibility, education, and connections networking platform. We bring to you speakers, trainers, coaches, and experts that have something of value to help up-level you on your business journey. So happy to have you here today. I would like for us to go around the Zoom room here, and I'd love for you to meet Diana, Monifa, and then I'm going to introduce you to our host today, Natalie Reder of anicheofnature. She's got some value bombs to share with us here. And Diana, the floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. My name is Diana Ashworth, and I live in Kingston, Georgia. You would think of me as a transformational coach. What I do and the problem I solve is women empowering themselves, confidence, pouring into themselves, because we as women, mothers, aunts, we do so much. And, so what I do is help women find themselves again, whatever they may be dealing with, whatever season they may be going through in their life, I help them navigate that. I just, I love women. I love just pouring into them, and I love just seeing the transformation. It's a beautiful thing. So.
Well, thank you so much, Diana, for joining us here today. You can also find Diana on our website. She is part of our success team here. So check her out on our business directory. All right, Barb, take it away. I think you are on mute.
Somehow got kicked off, and when I came back in, I didn't recognize I was muted. All right, Barb Fisher, Area-Wide Wellness. I help people have a better journey. And when we look around, we see so many illnesses and so many health issues. So I am able to turn those around for people, educate them from study that I do with scientists all across the country. And for everyone, that can be coming from a different place. And the key is to not treat symptoms of the problem, but to actually get to the root and to find out what's going on and correct those things, because the body knows what to do. It tries to be healthy, but we have to figure out what's going on there. And what happens so many times is we're treating symptoms. And when the symptoms go away, then we think we're cured, and it's not true at all. And the underlying issues just keep getting worse. So I help people discover these things and have many different areas in which I work. And, we only are here once, so we want to have the best journey that we can. I always talk about a candle. At the beginning, when the candle's brand new and tall, the flame burns brightly, but when it's down to the last inch, the flame is not smaller, it's still the same size. And that's how we're supposed to be. And then we just go out. But too often our candles sputter, they spurt, and they go out before their time. So that's where I can really help. So the tip, I didn't quite catch that because I got kicked off. Is it a business tip or a tip from my profession?
How about a success tip?
A success tip in my business?
Yes.
Okay, I have had 100% success with helping people who have high cholesterol not need medications anymore. And that's a huge deal, because the side effects of the medications are Alzheimer's, high blood sugar, cancer. There's all kinds of issues there.
I love that. Thank you so much, Barb.
You're welcome.
And I love that you said we are only here once, right? That's a true statement. We're only here once. And I love how your passion of treating the symptoms, right? Or of not treating the symptoms, right. Figuring out what is the root cause. So Thank you so much, Barb, for joining us here. And Monifa, take it away.
Hello, everybody. My name is Monifa Gruber, and I am your mindset coach. And I help women tackle areas related to how their mindset keeps them from pursuing their passion, reaching their goals, and making money in their business. I think it's critical and crucial to the process to examine your mindset. If you don't do that, you really will only hit that glass ceiling that you really are creating for yourself. And so my success tip for everyone that's listening is say yes. Other people's breakthrough are dependent on your obedience. So say yes to the task, say yes to the charge. Do not let fear stop you. I was mentioning earlier that fear is a very powerful force, yet it only has as much power as you give it. So say yes, don't give fear the power, forge ahead.
Oh my gosh, I absolutely love that. Yes, do not give fear your power, right? Don't let it take you away. Say yes to opportunities. Say yes to showing up, right? And giving your value. So thank you so much for joining us, Monifa.
Thank you.
Yeah, so let's move on to our program here. I'm excited to introduce Natalie Reder. She is our host today here for our virtual networking event. Natalie is a certified holistic health coach and aromatherapist. She is passionate about guiding her clients through information transformation with wellness solutions to live well and be well. Please help me welcome Natalie Reder.
Hi, thank you, Carol. It's always a joy to be here and share with us to learn that, we always take away something that we learn from each other. And so you've created such a wonderful place for us to live and grow together. So I love to be here and bring some, as you said, some value bombs to us today and a great message that will hopefully send everyone away with some to-dos that they can do and ways that this can also speak to them. As Barb talked about it, God made our bodies to heal themselves and to have the ability to do so much. We just have to understand what those things are that our body needs when those are depleted so that we understand that and giving our body what it needs to do exactly what it was meant to do. And medicine has its place. It's a great tool, as I like to say. It helps put out the fires because we sometimes have to really address a situation and then move into solution mode. But as the educator that I've spent, 40 years, that's a lot. What do you think about it? But it's great. Working with laying the foundation for young children to help them move forward into their potential. Now moving into all of us in the adult realm, helping us learn about our health, learning about what that means, understanding what that root cause is. We're really good about addressing symptoms, but that can only be a distraction in a lot of ways. And so with a niche of nature, I like to say I help you with your niche of need, and I love to bring that to everyone. And in my work, as we've often talked, even with Monifa here, it is not one piece. It is not one product. It is a whole conglomerate of many pieces, many layers of things that help us to be our best. And so today's message was to bring that to you a little bit, bringing a little bit of that wellness to us in the sense of a message through talking about our work-life balance. We're moving into the summer months here, and some of our schedules have changed. Those of us that have children, we now have to juxtaposition a little bit because they're home or in the camps. But it's also a slower time, I think, for some of our businesses. And so how do we stay on the mark, stay focused, but then also use this time to do some reflecting. As I always like to say, do, review, play and do, review, play and do, review. And so I think we're in that time that we get to review some, keep some things going while we're looking forward to the next season that hits in once our hiatus of summer kind of moves through. So I do want to share a little bit with you today. Let's see if I can open it up. Yeah, here we go. Open this up. And sorry about my messy desk here. There we go. Open this up and let's view it as a slideshow. So just a couple of things that are really helpful for us to understand is, is there a work-life balance? And I think that's so important for us to understand that there is, and if we understand what the definition is, I think that can help us. And we think back to our childhood. I cannot help but think about, here's Dr. Seuss. Remember balancing all of that, and who can relate to feeling that this might be how some of our days or some of our situations go, and we just are constantly trying to do that delicate balance to keep it all just so. And with that, it's important to understand that there's some things that go with us. And looking at what the definition is, and I thought this was really interesting when I was doing my research for this, that work-life balance, it's a state of equilibrium. It's where we are prioritizing and looking at the demands of our personal life, of our career, and kind of prioritizing where those demands are, understanding that it's a cycle, not an achievement. So it's a continuous process of reevaluation and improvement. Children change ages, we change seasons, our work demands change things, our physicalness changes its need. And I think the key here is to remember to remain fluid, build those consistency places where we can, look at our goals, look at our needs, always keeping those forefront and constantly twixing and tweening and tuning up where we need to be in order to reach those pieces in our work. Trying to figure out, there we go. I found this picture, and I think it is the most elegant, but it's also this amazing. It is a pharmaceutical scale, and it's one that asks us the question, so how is your work-life balance? And when I looked at this, I thought, oh my gosh, we always think of the two pieces, but I think this is a perfect depiction of, we have little pieces, big pieces, sometimes they change priority, but we're full of all of these kinds of things in our life, and each one of those maybe, and I was thinking of putting it on the screen, but I like us to keep the visual of looking at this nice, beautiful, elegant scale, but then thinking about our families, our physical needs, our finances, our medical, our food, our sleep, our home, our pets, marketing, so we can fill our scale with our personal things. We can also fill it with those elements of our business, our marketing, our emails, our follow-ups, our setups, our programs that are coming up. And each one needs some attention. Each one needs that delicate attention to stay in balance so it doesn't offset the others. But, thinking about all those pieces in our lives, it can look very pretty and look very nice like this, but looking at that, how we're constantly doing a constant equilibrium of balancing those things out. And I think it's important for us to look at, as we look at this title here, when we want to achieve that, here are the things that we want to do. I always like to start it with the positive. Play to your strengths. Identify where your weaknesses are. Know where your strengths and weaknesses are, and don't try to be all things to all people. Be your best, be your most unique. Let those talents thrive on their own, and you'll be fine for everyone. When we're trying to spread ourselves out to too many people, we tend to pull ourselves into those spaces that are a little bit of our weaknesses, and then we don't necessarily come off the way we want to. And along with that is that important time to make sure you have time for you. We've heard a lot about the magic mornings or magic Mondays, where they talk about your time for exercise and devotion and resetting and kind of setting your tone for the day so that you are ready for all that come at you. But take time for you, your loved ones, your colleagues and coworkers. I think our business world tends to make us want to go after that, go get those sales, right? And we will, but we have to nurture the time and the people we're with. But look at those strategies, our tools. What systems do we have? What systems do we need? Even which systems do we need to retire that either no longer serve us or might have been created for a great purpose but may not be serving you? And along with that is then the boundaries. What is the time you give to yourself, to your family? For those of us that work from home, I think we need to set work hours. When am I busy that, not that I don't want you or need to be with you, but right now my work needs me to do this. I will be available here. So I think that those boundaries are really important for us, looking at our block timing, our appointments. And then along with that is, what space do you work in? Now, right now I'm in my dining room, so I'm not in my most optimum situation, but we've got some new lights and it's going to be better for today. But I think that's important. Create that workspace that, as I always say, your environment is an extension of you. It needs to have the arrangement, the colors, the tools that make you shine. And it's an extension of you, whether it's the way we talk on our computers and our devices, whether it's the colors and things that are around us. It's what helps support you to be your best one. As we move out of the task looking at it, we also have to move. Exercise is one way, but sometimes just plain old moving, walking, taking a break, looking at those times that we take a step away from things. And like it says on the bottom here, is prioritize your health. If we do not have our health, we have no wealth. Our health has got to be key, because if we can't take care of ourselves, we are not going to service our families and our clients. And of course, live by grace. There's no perfect way, but if we're always living by that grace, then we know we're going to achieve our outcomes as well. There's always that other side. What is it we need to watch out for? We're so busy looking at what we should do, we need to listen to these things. Here are some of the things that can be those things that work against us, no matter how hard we try. When we're at home or at work, we're thinking of the other. We're tired, we're losing motivation, overwhelmed, anxious, worried, and that comes in different waves. Our attitude shifts, or quickly we are in and out of different things, some mood swings. We might have a difficult time letting go or turning off the gears, switching those gears. Is it a little more frustrating to move into something else that comes up? Or those unexpected things. How forgiving or allowing are we to move into those? Didn't plan on that, but it needs my attention. Looking at changes in your sleep, your eating, physical changes. Are we starting to get some things like, I can tell if I've been in my car too much, my back and my hips start giving me an issue, which tell me I'm not moving enough. So listen to ourselves, tune into that, and definitely take time to relax, because one of the things we also want to look at is, are we starting to rely upon external supports to help us get through? Not that we're here with any kind of an addiction, but we pretty much can slip into some of those things really quickly if we're busy getting the job done, and I've got to take this or use this just to get that done. I'll be done when I'm done. But I think that self-talk, we have to be careful that we're not letting these things start sabotaging and hijacking us from there. But on that other side, taking care of yourself is taking care of you and your loved ones. As a Christian woman, I've often been taught, my temple, my body was given to me when I was created. I have a responsibility to take care of it. So it's how I eat, how I move, how I live, how am I there? And I think that's the key I want to leave with you today, is between that mindset and your health, we have to take care of ourselves so that we can be the best we can be. And here's what that looks like. We've often heard about these in developmental aspects, but I also want to look at it in the realm of, we have to have that spirituality, whether we are a Christian, whether we have other forms of faith and support, but that meditation, that devotion, the time that we reflect and build our strength, looking at that cognitive, don't let us get lazy and always be looking for that lifelong learning experience. And the spiritual aspect of, or the social piece, surround yourself with people that support your values, because that is going to be key in helping you stay energized. I thought this was interesting. Physical and emotional health go hand in hand. Mental health impacts how we think about ourselves, and this is where a lot of the mindset comes in. Decision making, problem solving, how we stay nurturing and keeping that brain going. And if we're not in that good state, the body starts taking up the slack. And pretty soon, when our mind is off and our emotions are off, that's when the body starts grabbing on and having some of those things that keep us out of our state of wellness. And so it's important to keep those two together, that we have to take care of the emotional side, but also take care of that physical, so that one or the other doesn't tug away and pull us off our game there. Looking at that nourishment. And, you know, food is important, but as Barb and I can also tell you, sometimes our food is not enough. And so we need to look for those pieces of nutrients outside of the food that can help enforce and reinforce the things that we need to support our systems. I do a lot of work with Deb Erickson through the ICANN Institute, and I think this is so important to look at. Our mindset is so important, and Monife, I'm probably preaching to the choir here for you, but look at the things that we can put ourselves in. How easy do we slip into some of these doubt, overwhelm, frustration, anger, helpless? And what can we do that gets us out of that and keeps us in the green zone? The hope, the confidence, the knowing, the optimism, the appreciation, the expectation, love, joy, passion, and bliss. That's the things we want to take care of ourselves in our food and our environment and our people, that keep us on that yes spot, so that we know we're doing our best. And I think what's really important is because we have got so much to offer and we have so much to give, but I think it's so important for us to really understand my responsibility, your responsibility, to take care of ourselves so that we can be there for each other. So I'll kind of pass back to our group here a little bit. Just take a breath a moment. We've got a couple of
Natalie.
too, so let's go ahead and
Natalie,
step in.
that was amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I love the topic here today, all about work-life balance. That was amazing. You guys all know I am a huge note taker, so I took my notes. I love taking notes because then it just kind of reinforces all the knowledge, the expertise that you poured into us. I love the fact that you said health is wealth. And you pointed out some of the things to look out for. And I think I'd like for us to just go around the room, and I'd love to hear Barb's takeaways, Diana and Monifah's takeaways before we wrap up here. But we were talking about, Natalie poured into us about work-life balance, right? And my biggest takeaway from your presentation, Natalie, was all about setting those boundaries, right? That I think as women, we have a tendency to take on so much, right? We give, we pour into others, and sometimes we forget to stop and take care of ourselves, and or say no when it's too much, right? And not to overextend ourselves, because that can lead to stress and overwhelm and all. We can go down a big old rabbit hole there. So I'd love to pass the mic over to Barb and then Monifah and Diana, and have them contribute to this conversation about work-life balance and your experience and expertise to tap into what Natalie has shared with us.
Okay, you ready for me?
I'm ready, Barb. Take it away.
Okay. Something I was thinking about as I was listening is that we want to evaluate what our activities are, because sometimes we are working way too hard. We are involved in way too many things, but they're not income producing activities. You know, it's, I gotta go shopping, and I've got to go get this, and I got to go to the movies with my friend. And then you tell yourself, I'm working really hard, but I'm not getting where I want to go. Well, look at what you're doing. You're spending a lot of time on things that you don't have to do. So it's about choices and prioritizing them depending on what your goals are. We just don't want to fool ourselves and think we're working really hard when a lot of what we're doing is not working on our business at all, and we don't see it.
That is amazing. You're absolutely right. If we can kind of keep track of our schedules and our time, and where are we spending our time, our money, and our energy. I always say your planner, your itinerary, your schedule. Here's my planner, and let me just say, it does not lie, right? If you evaluate where you spend your time, your money, and your energy, and sort of reprioritize, I think that can make a bigger impact in your business and in your personal life. So thank you so much, Barb.
You're welcome.
All right, Monifah, take it away.
Well, I think my biggest takeaway, first of all, the presentation was awesome, but I think my biggest takeaway was the spirituality piece, being Christ-centered. I mean, for me, that is so important. Not that you have to beat people over the head with the Bible, but just living out the principles, just connecting to God, just doing some of the basic things is really at the core of what will keep us going. Being not only passionate, but purposeful in that, and including that in our everyday life, to me, is what gives us the balance. So I really enjoyed that piece.
I absolutely love that, Monifah, and you're absolutely right. Life is filled with opportunities and light, peace, light, and love, and that spirituality aspect to keep us all united, right? And moving forward. So thank you so much, Monifah, for that. And Barb, Barb, we were missing Diana. Well, it looks like Diana had to log off, so I so appreciate her joining us here today. And Natalie, if you'd like to have a couple of closing remarks for us, and then we will log off our live segment.
Sure, that sounds great. And I think as our businesses demand of us to be in certain places, like Barb was saying, we really do have to understand our industry. We have to understand who our, as we talk about our friends, Brenda have told us, who's our avatar? Who is our ideal person? Who do we really, of course we can serve everyone, but we need to hone in on who is our best, option and our best target, the best one who can do the most. And look at the things that support that. That helps us decide between my activities, where I'm going to put my time. We talk about the ROAs, the ROIs, return on my investment. Sometimes we have to put time into places that don't yield things right away, but we constantly evaluate that. Even our networking. Sometimes our groups can all be about, let's buy from each other. Well, that's not really helping us grow. We need to support each other. We need to be referral based. We need to help create a bigger climate. But I think that's important for us to know our industry, know what our talents are, so that when we have to choose between the kinds of activities that we want, we're going to be going for the most important ones, that prioritizing, that equilibrium piece. But because we always are reviewing, let something ride for a while. If that's not working, it's time to pull that out and put something new in, or look in, check into each other, find some other, hey, I'm really struggling with this. Any ideas, something that's worked with you? That's where our surrounding ourselves with each other is so important, because we help each other grow and serve. And be sure we are there for each other. I think sometimes we can be very work oriented, and then we forget to enjoy the present, enjoying that coffee, grabbing a lunch, taking a walk with somebody. It's good for us, but it's also good for each other to nurture that soul, to nurture that other part of us that, it's not because we become an emotional society, but I think we've forgotten we need to take care of mind, body, and spirit all the time, and constantly be watching out for those things that can pull us away or feel real good, but then all of a sudden we've left everything else beside, or drained our tanks and forgotten to fill up. It's that half full, half empty. I'd rather work on half full than half empty. So I think that's maybe my closing moments on that is, be good to yourselves. Look at that balance. If people are interested in the slides, I'm happy to share those, because I think those are important for us to really evaluate where we are. Use this time that's kind of slowing down business-wise to make sure we're heading in the right direction, doing the right kind of thing. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Natalie. And yes, Natalie is willing to share her slides with you. If you'd love to learn more, you know how to connect with Natalie. She's on LinkedIn, she's on Facebook, and I believe anicheofnature@gmail.com. So reach out to Natalie if you'd like to learn more. I just want to say thank you so much. This was incredible. I so appreciate Barb and Monifah and Diana joining us today for this conversation. Natalie, great presentation on work-life balance and mind, body, spirit. And really, my message is to take this time during the summer months and reprioritize, take a look at your calendar. Where are you spending your time, money, your energy, and really gear up for the fall season. And keep checking back with us here at beautifulfacesgoingplaces.com for upcoming events. We create so many different opportunities for you to be seen, be heard, be found. And I just want to say thank you all so very much. This was an amazing virtual networking event, and it truly starts with a conversation.